Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business, and let's wake up the football. Jeez, wake up, guys. It's Friday morning. Another weekend without football. But do you realize after this weekend, there's only 12 more Sundays without football? We're sitting here. By tonight's live stream, we will be under 90 days, less than 3 months. 90 days, 12 hours, 11 minutes from now, we start the 2019 season. I don't know about you, but I'm as excited as can be. Some teams are finishing up their mini camps this week, in which case they will be off until training camp opens up for them. Our Cowboys will be going to training camp around the 25th of July, and we have mini camp 3 days next week, and then they're off. That's the time, of course, where you hold your breath and pray that nobody gets in trouble. Well, some news, of course, last night, in case you've been under a rock, Carson Wentz got paid the highest guaranteed money contract in the history of the NFL. He's getting $128 million. 4-year extension. What it really averages out to, if you take the years that he already has, basically about $26 million. So look at it however you want to. You can look at it at he's got 32 a year, or technically with the contract he already signed, it's really 26 and a half. Either way, he's got more guaranteed money than anybody else. So that, of course, brings us to our quarterback, Dak Prescott, who is going into his 4th year. Now, whether you like Dak, Wentz, or whatever, what you got to understand is that these two guys right here are forever going to be joined at the hip. The Eagles, they moved up. They traded away pick after pick after pick to get that guy. They deemed him as the guy that we wanted. First round draft pick, of course. Dak Prescott, it was kind of like, well, we didn't get the guy we really wanted. He's still on the board. We'll draft him with a 4th round pick. So from cost standpoint of draft capital, Dak was dirt cheap. And throughout his career already, Dak has been dirt cheap. He's cost the team $3 million versus Carson Wentz being about 24 going in. But these two guys, along with Jared Goff, are always going to be measured together because they're quarterbacks from the same draft class. There really are no others other than those 3 guys. Everybody else is pretty much fallen by the wayside or is a nobody. And with them being in the same division, it's going to be great to watch them. And great to be able to compare them, to have a rivalry. You know, you've got good versus evil. You've got, I'm not going to put it black and white, but you've got the Eagles versus the Cowboys. And that's what's great about this, is that we both are about in the same place. We're 2 strong teams that are tough. And we're both basically building for war. The Eagles have been active like crazy this offseason. The Cowboys have been active. You know, we both have, for the most part, younger rosters. Although the Eagles are a little bit up there in age. The Cowboys have won 2 of the last 3 division titles. The Eagles won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Redskins and Giants there, meh. It's these 2 teams. So the question is, because in a lot of people's mind, they say, well, Wentz is overpaid. How you put him up in there with, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers and things. Hey, look, you got to understand, you are in a high-rent district. Go to Manhattan and look how much a house costs. 600 square feet for $1 million or more. A lot more. It's just the way it is. This is where quarterbacks are going. Now, for those of you guys out there that still say that Dak is the worst quarterback ever in the Dallas Cowboys, without Zeke Elliott, he can't do crap. Well, think about this. Think about Roger Staubach having Tony Dorsett. Think about having the Doomsday defense. Think about having Drew Pearson. Think about Troy Aikman having the best offensive line, the Great Wall of Dallas. Emmitt Smith, the all-time leading rusher. A security blanket in Jay Novacek, the playmaker himself, Hall of Famer. They had pieces around him too. And when you look at guys like Danny White, who still had some pieces, but not quite the same pieces that other ones had, they didn't quite get there. Because let's take a look here. I want you guys who are out here just hating on the quarterback. Understand, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, you are spoiled. The fact that we didn't have to do a Washington Redskins where we traded 3 number ones in a second to get RG3 and only have him get 1 good year. We got a Tony Romo who was undrafted, who got a chance to sit and watch and learn, and ended up playing great for 10 years. That shit does not happen. The fact that we got lucky enough that that guy's body broke down and we ended up, by hook or crook or whatever you want to call it, get a guy who has now started 3 years straight, got second most victories in the NFL, is like lightning striking twice in the same place with a guy holding his second winning lottery ticket. It don't happen. Think about this. Let me, there we go. Think about this. After Roger Staubach, we had Danny White. Danny White did get us to 3 NFC Championship games. Got knocking on the door, but couldn't get through. After Danny, we went through Gary Hogeboom, Steve Pelleur, Reggie Collar, Kevin Sweeney, before we got to Troy Aikman. And when we got to Troy Aikman, it was Troy Aikman, Steve Walsh, Babe Loffenberg, and Steve Berline. After Troy, Randall Cunningham, not the same Randall that was in Minnesota or Philadelphia, Anthony Wright, Quincy Carter, Ryan Leaf, the biggest bust in the history of the NFL, Clint Stoner, Chad Hutchinson, he should have stuck with baseball, Quincy Carter, Vinny Testaverde, Drew Henson, then we got Drew Brees for a season. And then we got to Tony Romo, and we got stability. Think about that list of characters. Think about all of those years of all of those quarterbacks. We got lucky. I just count your blessings. We got lucky that we had Tony Romo and that we were able to enjoy his play for all those years, because there's teams out there that have never had a quarterback as good as Roger or Troy or Tony Romo or Dak. And we've had all 4. And so for us to have gone through these periods where we've had great quarterback play and then you muddle through trying to find one, we went through great quarterback play and it looks like we found another good one who we'll see where it goes from here on out. But right now, or all you guys that keep saying, well, Tony Romo's got all the records for the Dallas Cowboys, he's the greatest of their all time. Dak Prescott is on pace to break all of his records. But you can't compare apples to oranges because it's a different era back in the day. It was totally different when Roger played and when Troy played. But let's go through here. This was an interesting list. This is a ranking that somebody had done, Ranker or something like that, of Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. You've got number 1, of course, Roger Staubach, my favorite, of course, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo, Danny White, Don Meredith, you turn out the lights, that's my thing. And then we already have Dak Prescott, who's only been there for 3 years. Then you got Craig Mortensen, who took him to a Super Bowl. Drew Bledsoe, who was really only here for 2 years. Eddie LeBron, Randall Cunningham, Jason Garrett, Steve Berline, Bernie Kosar. Now keep in mind, we haven't even gotten down to all the stiffs we have yet. Vinny Testaverde, Rodney Peete, Gary Hogeboom, John Kitna, Steve Walsh. Now we're getting down to our guys. Quincy Carter at 19, Clint Longley, Wade Wilson, Steve Pelleur, Kellen Moore, Babe Loffenberg, Brad Johnson, Kyle Orton, Clint Stoner, Jerry Rome, Anthony Wright, yeah, Reggie Collar, Matt Castle, Stephen McGee, Luke McCown, Brandon Whedon, Glenn Serraro, I don't even remember him, Drew Henson, Kevin Sweeney, Chad Hutchinson, and we'll end at John Roach. You understand, getting a quarterback that can play, it's few and far between. There aren't many out there. Look around the NFL, and I know you guys are still butthurt about Tony Romo's career ending with the injuries and things like that, but that's football. Take a look at Alex Smith, who still has the external brace on his knee. He wasn't planning on retiring, but it looks like retiring came for him. So we need to stop being so spoiled and expect that everything is going to be perfect, and that everything about the Dallas Cowboys is supposed to be Hall of Fame and everything else. We have an insane amount of riches. Our team is building the right way. We're going in the right direction. We've had 3 years of winning season. We've won 2 division titles. We ended up taking a step last year, winning a playoff game. We're good. And the question will be is, what will the final number be for Dak Prescott? It's got to be over 30 now, because nobody's taking contracts at quarterback under $30 million. All right, I got to get to my day job. Got a lot to do between now and Sunday when we get ready to go to Puerto Rico to volunteer on some home rebuilding and stuff. But make sure you tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, for the Jobu Sports live stream. We'll be talking about Carson Wentz and that big deal, and how it will affect the negotiations on Dak Prescott. I think the Cowboys need to hurry and get it done, because you don't want to get golf in front of him, and you don't want to get anybody else. I'll see you guys soon.